Hello and welcome to Home of Scares. Have you ever wondered what would happen if a ghost or another entity would jump in the swimming pool as you were swimming? Well, stay tuned to find out. My parents encountered the same ghost years before meeting each other, submitted by Malibu Barbie for when my mum was younger, about 6 years old. She and her dad had fallen asleep on the couch, her lying in front of him, so his back was facing the back of the couch, and my mum had her back towards him in the spooning position. She had woken up in the middle of the night and seen someone sitting in front of her, leaning against the couch. At first, she thought it was her dad, so she reached her hand out to touch him, and all she could feel is his curly afro hair, which her dad didn't have. She ripped her hand away, and immediately she saw it start to turn its head. But before they could make eye contact, it disappeared. My dad's story. He was laying in his bed and had also woken up in the middle of the night. The entity was in the same position, sitting up with his or her back against the side of the bed. My dad thought it was his dog, so he went to pet him and felt the same curly afro textured hair. He immediately ripped his hand away and kicked it in the head. But it popped right back up, and he just kept kicking it until it was gone. Well, when my dad met my mum, they had been sharing their paranormal encounters, and as my dad was listening to my mum tell her story and describe what she had seen and felt, my dad got this overwhelming feeling and immediately knew that they had encountered the same entity. My dog protects me from the creatures in the attic. I don't think I'm going to survive much longer. Submitted by Lighthouse Horror. You ready, boy? Shadow looked up at me, and I found courage in his eyes. Whatever demons or creatures were outside the bedroom door, whatever horrors await us, at least I wasn't alone. It had all started years earlier with the death of my wife Lauren. Cancer had taken her, and she wouldn't be its last victim. After she died, I went into a dark place, quitting my job and spending my days and nights reading from the library we had collected together over the years. It had been a hobby of ours, one of many. After she died, immersing myself into make believe worlds was the only way I made it. That and Shadow. Lauren and I had found him together on our first date. Believe it or not, we had been set up through mutual friends, and after sharing the better half of the evening getting coffee, we saw him, a 6 week old, we guessed, silver and black German Shepherd puppy, huddled and shaking under a pile of newspaper directly outside the door. There was no collar around the nape of his neck, and after an hour or so of searching for his owner, we decided to take him. So, how are we going to do this? Lauren asked. A first date is kind of early to be adopting a puppy together. I laughed. Huh, I suppose so, huh? I replied, well, we still don't know if we can keep him anyway. Maybe the coffee shop will contact us when they open tomorrow. But we both knew that wasn't true. The second we had seen the puppy, we understood. He hadn't run away from home or just been misplaced. He had been abandoned. Well, how about I take him the first 2 days and you can pick him up on Wednesday? She paused. You mean I can't see him for 2 whole days? In a way, Shadow is how we fell in love. Over the next few weeks, Lauren and I saw each other nearly every single day. We would argue about the best type of diet to give him or what type of collar to get. All the while, Shadow would watch us curiously. Time passed and the two of us got married. We weren't able to conceive a child because just 2 years into the marriage, she was diagnosed stage 4, and only 3 weeks later, she had died, holding my hand as she took her last breath in the home we had bought together. Shadow had been there too, and as the funeral service came to collect her body, he didn't once leave her side. I remember vividly when they covered her face. Shadow nearly scared the two gentlemen to death. He snarled ferociously, and it took all my strength to hold him down while they wheeled her body away. When it rains, it pours, because a few weeks later, Shadow was gone as well. I still don't know how it happened or what killed him, but I have my suspicions. You see, ever since we bought the house together, there have been, well, occurrences. Even before Lauren died, the lights would flicker on their own, and some nights the two of us would stare up at the ceiling, listening intently to the heavy footsteps that seemed to almost dance after midnight. When Shadow went missing, the house got worse. On July 21st, the attic door opened for the first time. On July 22nd, the attic door opened and they ventured out onto the top step. Each subsequent day, the things have made their way slowly down the attic stairs. It only happens after midnight, of course, and the heaviness of their steps seems to be increasing. I suspect you are asking yourself why I stay in the house. Well, why not? After Lauren's death and then Shadow going missing, I lost the best parts of me. I was raised in a religious home, and though some nights I thought of ways to end it, it was still in my head that it was against God's rules. Ridiculous, right? God's rules. Still, I couldn't get that thought out of my mind. Do the footsteps terrify me? Yes, of course they do. Am I afraid? Yes. I mean, who wouldn't be afraid? But the thing is, those footsteps and those red eyes that shine in the night are my way out. No more loneliness, no more pain. Last week, I was finally decided, having listened to the steps go further into the house and having seen their bright red eyes, I made my plan, if you could call it that. Truth is, I drank 9 cores and sat at the bottom of the attic steps, waiting. I was ready to go, and the alcohol took the edge off when I thought of those red eyes and their smiles. A few minutes before midnight, the lights went out. I closed my eyes again. That's when I felt something powerful brush against me. I didn't dare look, only waiting for their sharp teeth to dig into my neck. Instead, I felt a warm, familiar wetness on the left side of my face. Shadow! I hugged him tightly, staring into his eyes. Unlike the things in the attic, his pupils were bright blue, like that of a perfect afternoon without a cloud in the sky. Their strength illuminated a small circle around us, and I felt safe for the first time since he had disappeared. And the attic door opened, and Shadow began to growl deeply. I was pretty drunk, to put it mildly, but a reason to go on sobered me up. Still stumbling, I made my way into the main bedroom on the second floor, shutting the door tightly behind us. I listened as Shadow's growls intensified. The creatures from the attic scratched and pounded on the thick wooden door, but after a few hours or so, they relented. I would guess it was around 5 a.m. or so when I heard their footsteps run across the upstairs floor and back into the darkness of the attic. The next morning, I woke up with a hangover, and Shadow was gone, but it wouldn't be the last time I saw him. Each night since then, he has greeted me just before midnight, and just before the attic doors opened. We run together in whatever room we can reach before those things get to us, and we wait. We wait together behind the door, and we hold them off until morning. Like I said, there is no way I'm leaving this house. Shadow is all I've got, but the thing is, those creatures are getting more impatient and more hungry. An old wooden door isn't going to hold them back forever. Swimming with Ghosts, submitted by Elijah709. I was on holiday, and every day I went swimming at the local community pool. After doing a few lengths, I would play with the sinkers and float with my sister. Nothing unusual had ever happened there before. However, that day, my sister had her back turned, throwing the sinkers, when I saw a big, glowing white orb fly into the pool with a splash. I'd never seen orbs before, but this one was about the size of my fist and a pure, glowing white. At first, I thought it was something my sister had thrown, but upon diving to retrieve it, I found nothing. I'm sure I either saw a ghost or angel orb. Hopefully, it was good, as it was glowing white. Can't believe it made a splash. I didn't think that orbs could do that. Please comment what you think it was. I'm still not entirely sure. Thank you very much for listening tonight. If you like this content and like to hear more, please don't forget to like and share and subscribe. Comment down below what scary stories you want next. Now, sleep tight and try not to get possessed.